Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It has been a minute and then some since the last time I was on YouTube. And to be honest, I haven't even really been doing a lot of even static videos, filming and editing videos. I really haven't done a lot of those lately. So I have kind of fallen off the wagon in that sense. So trying to get myself back on here. And it's been so long since I've done a live. I had to familiarize myself with everything and how it works. So that's how long it's been since I've been up on here. But got my little drink right here, ready to go. In case I need to start getting dehydrated or something like that. I'll have that ready to go. It is officially May 1st, and I've been crazy busy, like probably everybody else has been, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done here as working on an academic calendar. We coming toward the end of the school year. So, well, this is the end of the school year, technically. It's commencement day. So, not for me, but for everybody else. Everybody else is graduating. So, I have been busy doing a lot of work. As some of you know, I work in public relations. So, that has been keeping me a little bit more so on the busy side. And that is largely a good thing. So, it means that I am still employed. So that's a good thing. Hello, precious cousins. Thank you for joining in. Just me getting back here in the flow of what's happening. So thank you for joining. Much appreciated. So definitely wishing everybody a good month of May. Trying to get yourself on track here, kicking off a new month. And I'm trying to kick off a new month too, as yeah, man, April's just been really crazy busy. So just a lot of stuff going on and trying to get through that. Hopefully get to the summer, trying to get some projects done around the house. Got a lot of things that I have to do. My stove just passed away. So rest in peace to my stove. I got to go buy a new stove. So yeah, that's got to put a little dent in the bank account, but you know, hey, you got to do what you got to do. So using the microwave today and the air fryer. The air fryer is definitely coming in handy. So got to find ways to make it happen wherever you can. So thank goodness for the air fryer and for the microwave. And then I got to go and buy a new stove. My house is a little bit on the older side. It's a 1950s house, so it's got some kind of smallish doorway. So I'm sitting there like sweating about, you know, is a stove going to fit, a full size stove going to fit in here? But everything I keep reading, everybody's like, oh yeah, it will. So I'll take the tape measure, go and get me a new stove here pretty soon and get that party started. So yeah, money, everything costs money. So y'all know how that goes in terms of everything costing money. So, so what have I been up to from a writing standpoint? I'm still finishing up this story. I've been two things going on right now. Number one, finishing up the story that I've been working on, the horror story that I was working on. Let me see. Let me word count this bad boy right now. It's actually up over 90,000 words, which is way higher than what I thought it was going to be. But let me count here. I am at 91,618 words. So I was sitting there thinking at one point that a finished product was going to be in the range of 80 to 85,000 words. And now I'm up over 90,000 words. So I'm trying to bring this thing into the station to get it finished. But that has been a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So, but it's getting there. It's really close. I'm probably about 3,000 words away from finishing it up. So I've been going back and forth about how to finish it. And I had a finished set, what I was going to do. It was ready to go. I was on point. I was just confident about it. You know, everything just felt good. And then I'm like, you know, I kind of think maybe I might want to go in a different direction. And so, you know, you start questioning yourself, and then I end up going in a different direction. So we'll see. Hopefully it turns out to be the right direction to go up in. The other project I've been working on is a little bit more editing of the novel that I'm trying to get traditionally published. So I've dipped my toe in the past in self-publishing, but I'm still hanging on to that dream of traditional publishing. So we'll see how that goes. It's a really, I'm really happy about the story. I'm excited about it. I think it's a good piece, and I think it's very timely, and I think it'll be very well received. It's just a matter of getting somebody to see the vision that I have for it. So that's going to be the challenge and the opportunity there. So Precious Cousin says, I am writing a sci-fi romantic fantasy screenplay. Very cool. I've always thought about what it would be like to write a screenplay. I've read screenplays before. I've never actually tried to write one, but it seems like a very interesting type of writing to do. And sometimes my writing probably in some ways resembles that because my writing is pretty dialogue heavy. I really try to focus on good, authentic dialogue. So I think there's probably some good screenplay principles in the writing that I do. So sounds like a really cool project. You know what? I've always in the back of my mind thought about writing sci-fi and what that would be like. Growing up as a kid, I really was into sci-fi. I really was into like Star Wars, Star Trek, the old Buck Rogers TV show. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Battlestar Galactica. I'm showing my age right now, I know, but yeah, man, I think that was really exciting when I was a kid. Some of those sci-fi shows were really good, and movies. The Star Trek and Star Wars movies. I remember going with my brother when I was a kid to see Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and then seeing some of the. I don't know if I ever saw any of the Star Wars movies in the theater, but I did see some of maybe one or two of the Star Trek movies. I think The Voyage Home was another one. Star Trek movie I saw in the theater. So I was really into Star Trek when I was I should say sci-fi when I was younger. So, and then there's some other sci-fi type things that I've been really interested in over the years. So that sounds like a fun type of project. So I wish you all the best of luck working on that particular project. So anyway, so I'm working on these two projects, a writing project, finishing it up, and then an editing project. It's more of a fine-tuned editing, just some things that I wanted to touch up a little bit. I've already been through editing it so many times that it's just crazy. It's probably due for a beta reader of some kind at some point. So I'll probably look at that as an option as well in the future. So that is something that I'll definitely be interested in. You're welcome. Thank you, says Precious Cousins. You are definitely welcome, and wishing you all the encouragement in the world. It's writing really opened up a lot of doors for me in terms of creative expression, and so that's why I enjoy things like writing. I enjoy reading. I enjoy photography. Those are all things that I really enjoy doing, and so once you find that thing that you really enjoy doing, it really definitely opens up some positive doors. So hopefully you find that level of fulfillment in the work that you're doing, and that it gives you either a sense of purpose or a sense of satisfaction to be creative. And so creativity is just exercise for the imagination. So I hope that it proves to be that for you, as it has for me over all these years since I've gotten into reading. When I was a kid, I got into reading. It mostly started, I think I've told this before. I think The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton was probably one of the first books that I remember reading as a kid. And then I started getting into like some Stephen King books. And then I started getting into true crime. I read a lot of true crime books back in those days. And I'm trying to think of what else I read. Actually, probably a lot of horror type stories back then. And then eventually I started to evolve into different types of books to read. And so it was exercise for the imagination. I was probably much more introverted back then. So reading was definitely something that was good for me. And then getting into writing as well. So those were things that ended up being very, very significant positives for me. So, and I hope they have been, I assume that they have been for other people as well. So hopefully that does end up being the case. And yo, Coffee Over Apples makes an appearance here. Great to see you, Steph. Part of our Voltron productivity sprint force that we get it going once a month. And actually, May is my month to get it back going. So I need to step my game up and get this thing back going again. So see what Steph is working on, doing some editing during this sprint. I hope you're all having a great day. Yeah, it's been a really good day. Yesterday was cold and windy. I shouldn't say cold. It was cool and windy, and I think it was like around 50 degrees. But because it was windy, it just felt a lot colder than what it actually was. I was actually doing college soccer games on the radio. So we were in the press box, and the wind was just gusting like crazy. We had to actually cut the heater on in the press box. We didn't have to, but it just made it more comfortable, especially being out there for so many hours for 2 soccer games. Soccer feels kind of long sometimes. So it was nice to have the heat on a little bit, and it was overall a fun time to be out there. Scratch another one off my bucket list, being able to broadcast soccer. So 2 bucket list items. I got to broadcast college soccer games this year, which is really cool. And I got to broadcast college hockey games this year, which was another one checked off the old bucket list there. So that was definitely another positive there. Let's see. Yes, looking forward to our sprints later this month. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with it. I think the 3 of us, Coffee Over Apples, myself and Margaret Pernard, our buddy, we have an opportunity to bring our interest together, our booktube interest together. And it's really cool because I think we have kind of diverse interest in what we read. And so I think that's been really fun to just have that group come together. And I definitely have appreciated that. Our university's conference was hosting the conference tournament, the semifinals and championship. So we were the top seed. Unfortunately, we lost 1-0. It was a great game between us and our rival schools. So, but it was a really fun game. So we hosted the 2 semifinals, and then the championship match is on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, we were. It was fun. It was really fun to be out there to see some high level women's college soccer, which was cool. We don't have a men's soccer team, at least not an intercollegiate team. So, anyway, here's something I did want to share with you guys that I thought would be kind of interesting. I'm going to show you guys. Let me see how I can do this here. I'm going to show you guys some of the books that I have pre-ordered, just so you get an idea of the kind of books that I am looking forward to reading this year. So let me see if I can share the screen here. And yeah, I should tell it not to show me that screen. So let me do this. Let me share the screen here real quick with y'all. And all right, let me blow this up a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the books that I have pre-ordered here. So first up on the list of books that I have pre-ordered here, and let me get that thing off of there. Get that off of there. So some of the books that I've pre-ordered, and I like pre-ordering books, and I actually have, this is probably the most books that I've pre-ordered. So we'll see how this goes, but you'll see that one of the books that I've pre-ordered here is The President's Daughter, and that's a Bill Clinton, James Patterson book. And Bill Clinton and James Patterson, of course, they did The President is Missing. So that ended up being a really cool story to do. So I was really excited about getting that one. And then I saw this one come up. I thought, you know what, that'd be kind of a cool one to check out. So I'm like, you know what, I'll go ahead and give that one a try. Let's see. And then Riley Sager, Survive the Night, is another one that I was excited about, and I decided to pick that one up. Riley Sager, I've always said, is an auto buy for me. The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. That was another one that I thought would be a really cool one. Samantha Downing, For Your Own Good. I read He Started It, her last book, and I thought that was pretty good. Ace of Spades sounded like a really cool book, maybe a little bit off the path for me, but I thought it was kind of an interesting book, so I decided to go ahead and grab that one. My Heart is a Chainsaw. I thought was a really interesting book. It just sounded kind of intriguing there. I didn't really have a whole lot of information on it, but I decided to pick it up anyway. And They'll Never Catch Us. That sounded like another really interesting book, kind of a cat and mouse kind of a type of book that I thought was interesting. And then The Box in the Woods, Maureen Johnson, that continues the Truly Devious series, although it takes a little bit of a different turn apparently. So I was looking forward to picking up that one. And then The People We Meet on Vacation is another one that I picked up. Emily Henry, she did Beach Read, which was a popular book back at a certain time. And then The Invisible Husband of Frick Island, which I thought was another kind of an interesting one that I wanted to pick up. That one was kind of interesting because it was kind of like almost like a Stepford Wives kind of a creepy vibe to it. And that it's about something like it's about a wife whose husband dies, and she kind of just continues on as if nothing is going on. And then there's this reporter who's kind of down on his luck, and he kind of senses the story that's kind of like a big story that he could break. And so it just sounded like an interesting book, so I decided to pick that one up and see how that goes. So we'll see what happens. Just trying to look at some things that are kind of like in my reading wheelhouse, but at the same time, looking to see if there's some different things that I might also look at as well. So I sometimes have a hard time breaking out of my comfort zone, but we shall see if I can do that here in the near future to just kind of get some different types of reading. So as always, if you have any book recommendations, I am certainly open to that. And hopefully I'll be able to find some more good, positive stories that I can add to my reading list. So let me go ahead and hold on a second. Let me put this up on the screen. So how are you guys doing with your reading goals and your writing goals for this year? I hope everybody's having a good time working on their reading and writing goals. And it's one of those things where I know sometimes I have a tough time because I change stories sometimes. If I am writing a story and I'm really into it, then sometimes I feel more. Sometimes I just want to move in a different direction, and I just want like a fresh story, to I just want to do something different. And so I'll a lot of times I'll end up changing the stories that I'm doing because I just want to do something different. And so if I'm not feeling a story, if I'm starting it and it's just not working, I'll just go to something different, and so I don't know how you guys are doing. I hope everybody is doing well and setting some good writing goals and hopefully sticking with them a little bit. Let me get my clock on here. I should have got this set up, but I didn't. So I'm off my game here a little bit because I haven't been doing the live as much as I normally do. So let me go ahead and set up. Actually, hold on. I'll do 15 minutes. When we do our group, we usually do 20 minutes, but I'll do 15 minutes. Let me go set up the old clock here. So let me pull that over to this screen and go super wide screen. All right. So struggling to get things set up here a little bit. Let's see. May is my biggest TBR of the year, so please send positive vibes. Woo! So you're going pretty ambitious. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm just, man, I need to film my May TBR. And man, I'm not there. I actually got to do my April wrap up as well. So I'm like way behind on stuff that I need to do with my videos. So just trying to avoid burnout. So I haven't really done as many videos lately, but I do want to do my April 2021 wrap up and then my May 2021 TBR. I just am not quite sure everything is going to be on the TBR just yet, but I'm hoping that there will be some good ones on there. So let's see where Steph is currently at 56 of 100 books for your reading goal. So yeah, you are definitely on point here. So as we're coming up, we're still a little ways away, a little more than a third of the way through, getting up close to halfway through, which would be June-ish. So you are definitely on your goal. Let me see. Actually, now that you mentioned it, let me see where I'm at here. So Goodreads, I know a lot of people are kind of down on Goodreads right now, but let me check and see where I'm at according to my Goodreads is good if for nothing else, if for no other reason, Goodreads is good for helping me keep track of my reading progress. So I was not nearly as ambitious as Steph. I pledged 55 books for this year. That's only 55. I'm going to shatter my goal, by the way. I pledged 55 books. Right now, I am at 25 books read, and I am knocking on the door of finishing probably two books. I'll have finished probably this weekend. I'm doing it at the same time. Actually, these two right now that I'm close to finishing are audiobooks, and then I have a physical book, which of course I didn't bring in here to show you guys, but I am doing really well. So I'm well ahead of my goals. Actually, let me see how many. It usually tells you how many books. It says I'm 7 books ahead of schedule. So I am killing the game. And I guess competitiveness can go both ways. I don't like to lose, so I'm making sure that I don't. So I probably set a goal that was probably too low. I should have been more ambitious since I am doing a few more audiobooks than I usually do. It's going to be a lot easier for me to meet that goal. So, but I haven't been reading Kindle books lately. I mainly been doing physical books and then audio books. So I haven't really been reading on my Kindle very much lately. I should though, because Kindle I can read crazy fast on my Kindle books. So, and Kindle books are usually a little bit cheaper. So I should probably be focused on that as well. So that is how about I'm doing. So 25 out of 55 books read so far. So I'm definitely going to pass that goal. I might even need to increase. I might actually increase my goal from 55 because that was a pretty low bar. But again, I like to win. So I'm all about winning. And this was an opportunity for me to get a victory. So, but anyway, getting the victory was kind of nice. That little piece of lint there off my shirt there. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But I've had a good mix of books too. So I've had some science fiction, fantasy, a little bit of that, a little bit of horror, some typical contemporary fiction, some thriller type books. So it's been a pretty solid mix. I don't think I've done as much nonfiction this year. So let me look. You know what? Now that I think about it, I've been hardcore slacking on the nonfiction. You know what? I don't know that let me look back on this now. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've read a nonfiction book, so yeah, I might need to step my nonfiction game up. I don't know, I just haven't seen anything that's really jumped out at me just yet. So maybe I'll see if I can locate some nonfiction books that would be good for me to check out. So you can do it. You can always update your goal number if you hit it. I think last year I hit the goal. Like I knew I was going to increase the goal, but I hit the goal first, and then I think I don't know, maybe I increased it after the fact or something like that. I don't know, I don't remember, but it was. But yeah, I know I did increase it. Maybe I increased it before the fact, knowing that I was going to reach it, and I didn't want to fail. So yeah, I probably will end up doing that. Better Days Zellers, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Getting ready to do some productivity sprints. So, if everybody's got projects that they're working on, you can go ahead and do that, whether it's a reading project, it's a writing project, editing. Um, if you're doing something creative, like, stuff is like doing all kinds of crazy, cool, creative stuff that's like way beyond my scope of talents. So, I don't know if Steph's going to be doing anything cool today throughout the day that's going to be really artistic and sweet. Um, I need to get back. I used to draw a lot and I used to paint, and I haven't done that in a lot of years, but that was a lot of fun for me back in the day. So I might see if I can get back to that at some point. So to not let those skills atrophy too much. Um, I'm still relatively capable of doing it. So, but yeah, anyway, find some things that whatever you guys enjoy that is going to help you be productive and be fun. That would be great. I am going to. So what I am working on right now is finishing up this story. As I mentioned, I'm at a little over 91,000 words, which is actually kind of typical of full length novel, full novel length for me. Typically, sometimes I do write short novellas that are typically shorter, maybe in your 40 to 60,000 or 30 to 60,000 range. So this one is definitely going to be a full length one. But the funny thing about it, though, even though it's at 91,000 words right now, uh, usually when I go through and edit it, I'd probably edit down probably 10,000 words out of it by the time I go all the way through it the first time. And then a lot of times I'll come back and I'll build it back up stronger. So that's typically how that process works going through the editing of it. So I usually edit very aggressively the first time around and take out all the fluff and then try to build it back up with stronger descriptive detail that really helps tell the story and really helps build the tension over the course of the story. So that's typically how it works for me. All right, so let me go ahead and get my clock going here. Well, let me get that banner off of here real quick. So we're going to go let me get my clock, the handy dandy clock going here. There's the clock. Productivity sprint number 1. So we're going to go for 15 minutes. So hopefully you guys all have something cool, as I said, to work on. Some people, again, work on editing. Some people work on writing. Some people work on reading. And just kind of share, what you've been doing from a progress standpoint. And if you guys have any questions or comments, just go ahead and drop them in there. And I'll get to them. If not during the 15 minutes, then certainly between breaks. I'll do 3 of these sprints over the course of, let's see, I'll be here till at least noon. So, and then I have something to do, have some photography to go out and do later today so I can get some fresh air. Hopefully it doesn't rain or anything. It's a little cloudy, overcast here today. And not sure what the temperature is here. Let me check the temperature real quick. See what the temperature's looking like here. I could just go and check outside and see what's going on here. But let's see. Or if we're at 52 degrees here at 11 o'clock, a little past 11 o'clock Eastern time. So, yeah. So it might be a little bit chilly. So I have to make sure I have a nice little layer on if I'm going to be out there for a while. So, all right, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this story that I'm bringing toward an end right now. So it won't necessarily be so much about the actual word count for me as much as just sharpening this story toward the end. So that's pretty much what my focus is going to be. So happy sprinting, everybody. And again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop them in there and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Okay, so let me go ahead and tally up what I have right now for that 15-minute sprint. So let's see. I don't think I necessarily had a huge word count here. Let's see. Actually, I did have a pretty good word count here. So let's see. Um, okay, so I had 529 words written during the first sprint. So that was pretty good. Pretty good for me. I've got. I'm at a point in the story where they're working their plan that's going to ultimately solve the mystery and bring the story to a conclusion. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm at a pretty good spot so far with that. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, and I'm getting really close. I figure I'm probably about maybe 2,000 words away from bringing this to an end, maybe less than 2,000 words. So I am really close. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back into it. Don't see any new comments here. Let me check and see. Okay, I don't see any new comments. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get started with a second sprint. I got pretty good momentum going right now, so I want to keep the thing going here. So let me go ahead and bring the clock back up here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go for another 15 minutes. Like I said, I'm gonna be here until at least about noon. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Steph says still working hard, and hopefully Are you reading something right now? Or are you doing some kind of doing one of your creative artistic projects? Maybe filming a video. I need. Oh gosh, I got to film. I got to film. Yeah, I got to film my wrap up and then my TBR. I got to figure out what's going to be in my TBR first before I even think about filming it. So I'm working on reading one, two, I think three books right now. So I'm pretty. There's the one book I really want to finish, so I'm just looking at really focusing on finishing that right now more than anything. So let's see. Yes, today is the first day of our May the Force Read With You readathon. Oh, that sounds cool. May the Fourth. That sounds really cool. Hopefully it's hopefully some cool reading going on with that. Reading some nonfiction right now. Cool. Hopefully it's not hopefully it's more pleasure than work, or more just for personal growth and development than for anything job related or school related. But I guess it could be both. I've read some books, not so much recently, but maybe a couple years ago that were good books. Some of the, if you guys are familiar with the Patrick Lencioni books, where he does the fable and then he does the nonfiction, does the fictional fable and then the nonfictional lesson that's tied to the fable. And it's actually a really cool concept for books. So I definitely like reading those. Yes, I am on the dark side going. I go on the Sith path. Yeah, as Darth Vader once said, "If you only knew the power of the dark side." Yeah, it's I don't. By the way, if you guys don't know, Steph has a really cool sense of humor, so it's always cool chatting with her and checking out her videos. So be sure to check out her channel if you are interested in some really good and creative booktube content, with a little bit of a different twist. She does a great job of making things just fun, and doing things a little bit outside the box of what a lot of other booktubers do. So she definitely puts her own little flavor on her channel. So it says currently reading One Day We'll All Be Dead and Nonfiction of This Will Matter. None of this will matter. I said nonfiction is none of this will matter. essays from a Canadian immigrant. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, you're so kind. Such kind words. Always great to hear from Steph. But yeah, it's there's a lot of good booktubers out there. And like I said, I do it more for the fun of it, just to be creative. I like the challenge of doing the live video stuff and the challenge of filming and editing the videos and just being generally comfortable on camera. That's stuff that I enjoy. So I definitely appreciate doing that. And been doing this, gone to this once a month. I might eventually, if I get to the summer and I get a little bit more free time, I might go back to doing it a little bit more frequently. Maybe go back to doing it once a week again. We shall see how it goes, and what people are interested in. Don't want to do it if people aren't necessarily interested in it. So if we are not having fun, why are we doing this exactly? So yeah, so that's kind of my approach to it as well. So I definitely want to make sure that it's still fun and that it's still productive. Um, and having fun is indeed booktube priority number one. And so, yeah, I just do it to have fun. And so, I've got my camera set up in the next room over here, and that's where I do kind of the static videos where I stand in front of the camera and kind of monologue in front of the camera. So I may end up doing some more of those again here in the near future. So yeah, we'll see how frequently I do it, but I do want to find some ways to kind of spice it up and make sure that the videos are a little bit more fun, and just that they don't become stale or monotonous. So that's the challenge, is to try to keep it as fresh as possible. So, with that, let me get into the second writing sprint here because I had some good momentum going. So let me go ahead and get this party started again with the clock here. And so I'm at a great place right now, and I'm wrapping it up, and it's actually kind of fun. I like where it's going, so I pretty much know how I want to end it. So this is where I think it gets really, really exciting. So with that, I am going to hit the start button. So get ready, and hopefully everybody has some work that they can continue working on and making some progress. If you got comments, questions, definitely leave them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Thanks for staying with me here. And again, we'll keep this thing going. Okay, so I ended up writing 443 words during sprint number 2. So that ends up being a pretty productive sprint for me. And I hope that you all had some productivity that ended up being good. Let's see. I was almost done with my editing and then Photoshop froze. Ew. Oh, that is not good. Wow. I think we've all had that at some point, and I think we can all sympathize with that pain because it is not fun, especially if you've gotten really far with whatever you're working on, and then technology just freezes and you lose everything. I think the worst. I'm trying to think of what's. I'll put this on the screen. Let me do this real quick. Hang on a second. Uh, all right. Let's do this real quick. So, what is your worst technology experience? I am sad to say that I have more than one horror story that I can share with this particular question. So, the first one I'm going to start with is a valuable lesson, the biggest lesson that I learned about making sure that everything is backed up and perhaps double backed. I had a laptop computer, and when you've had a computer for a certain amount of time, there's like this trust that develops with this machine, especially when you've had it a lot of years. And so what happens is you tell yourself that, okay, technology can break down at any moment and sometimes without any warning. So you need to back up, right? So whenever I get a new computer, I always do that. And now you have things like OneDrive and whatever, and you can have things backed up. But back in the day, I didn't have that. And so I had this laptop computer, and at first I was backing everything up, whether it was on like a CD-ROM at the time or a DVD or whatever, or a flash drive. I was backing up, or I would email files to myself to back up. So after a while, you get comfortable with your computer and you start to get sloppy. And so I started getting sloppy, and I started to get lazy and leave stuff on the computer without backing it up. And then it kept going and going and going. And so as a photographer, I had all these photos on my laptop computer, and just years and years and years of photos on the computer. A tiny percentage of them were backed up. But again, you get comfortable and there's nothing to worry about, right? And then one day I went to restart the computer, nothing, wouldn't do anything. And I tried everything to bring the computer back to life, and nothing. Took it to experts, and I knew it, because it had the blue screen of death. If you guys remember that from back in the day, it might still be a thing, but it was just gone, and all those photos, years and years of photos, many of which not backed up anywhere, were gone. And man, it hurt. It hurt. Like a lot of my stories were backed up. I made sure to keep my stories backed up, but I did lose some stuff. So that did hurt. And so that was a long time ago. That was probably like 15 years ago, maybe longer than that. Yeah, I would say at least 50, that was about at least 15 years ago that happened. Now, more recently, I had a computer, and I had one story that I was working on, and I got sloppy, and I didn't have it backed up, and I lost quite a bit of a novel that I was working on. I lost probably 20 to 30,000 words. Maybe it was like 20, probably closer to 20,000 words. I lost, and I was like I knew what I wrote, and I was able to replicate it. I was able to redo it, but it was lost productivity, not necessarily lost story. I think the way that I rewrote it probably was not as good as I had it originally. At least in my mind, it wasn't. So yeah, there are certainly technology horror stories out there that can be devastating. Let's see, not my story, but my husband left his cell phone on the car roof and drove. Oh no. Oh, he probably had no clue where it was lost either. Like sometimes you can retrace your footsteps and you can. I did that one time with a cell phone. But in my case, I had the places that I had been, I was able to retrace my footsteps and I found my cell phone. I left it on I think I left it on the roof and it fell off the roof actually right next to where I'd parked the car. Fortunately, I didn't drive over it. But so I retraced my steps and I found it, and it was barely working. It was frozen. It fell in the snow, so it was barely working. But yeah, speaking of leaving stuff on the roof of your car, uh, one time I went to a convenience store and I got a bottle of Gatorade, and I was putting a bunch of stuff in my car, and I left the bottle of Gatorade on top of the car. So I pulled out of the parking lot. I drove back to my office, and this lady was pointing at my car, and I was like, what is she pointing at? I was like, who is this lady? So I get into the parking lot and I park the car. I step out and I look on the roof, and the Gatorade is still there. Somehow the Gatorade did not blow off. I wasn't driving very fast, obviously, but somehow the Gatorade stayed right on top of the car. And I'm like, how did that even happen? It was a full bottle of Gatorade and it stayed on top of the car somehow. So, no Gatorades were harmed in this story. So that was probably a good thing there. But yeah, that was, I feel bad for your husband though. Yeah, I think it was long gone. Hopefully, it at least was locked so nobody could get into it. I know back in the day, that wasn't necessarily a thing. I think the first cell phones that I had, I don't think you could really lock them if I remember correctly. But that was a long time ago. So hopefully, nobody went on a calling spree or did some creepy stuff with his phone. All right. Let's see. She was admiring your smooth driving skills. Yeah, it might have been. She's probably like, look at this fool right here. What is this? She's like, what is this fool doing? She's like, he's gonna feel like an idiot if his drink survives, or uh, she probably thought he was gonna tumble down the front of my car and cause like a major accident or something like that. But it was funny. She was pointing at the car. She was like, I was like, what are you talking about, lady? I'm like, and I smiled. I was nice about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay, thank you. So yeah, it was funny though. I got out of the car and saw it right on the roof. That was a trip. I've told that story in a long time. All right. That was kind of funny. All right, let's see. All right, productivity sprint number 3. Last productivity sprint of the day. I'm actually a little bit behind here. That's what happens when I start storytelling. All right, 15 minutes on the clock here. That was funny. I almost forgot about that story. The Gatorade story. Wow, that was a trip. That That lady must have thought I was crazy. All right, let's see. All right, let's go. We're gonna go for 15 minutes. So everybody get to your project and last 15 minutes. Let's finish strong. All right. So I only got about a couple of hundred words done. I ended up having to jump into something else there. I don't want to say unexpectedly, but something else that I had to get going on for work. So it ended up being pretty productive nonetheless, but in a kind of a non-traditional way, so to speak. So yeah, so I appreciate everybody who joined me this morning and now early afternoon for productivity sprints. I need to get going. I got a couple of things that I got to do today. So appreciate those who joined me for the sprints and hope everybody has a great rest of your day. I might do some lives here during the month. We'll see how it goes. But if not, I'll definitely be back at the beginning of June. So the first Saturday in June, I will make, if not sooner, I'll make a reappearance at that point as well. So everybody take care. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your weekend. So take care.